How have you guys been? You've been doing this all morning?
We've been doing it for an hour.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
An hour and a half.
That's alright then.
I'm fine with this.
Yes. Well, it's good. It's all publicising this fantastic movie. It's a great movie, by the way. I've seen it. I love it.
Thanks.
Really, really funny. Very, very funny. And, I hope it's going to be a big success for you guys.
It won't be, but thanks.
No, I hope it will. I think it's great. It's got to build an
We're
audience.
realists.
Okay, so you first came up with the idea in 2005, before sort of the big vampire boom that's recently happened with True Blood and
doing our
Twilight.
usual answer.
Yeah.
It's
So
stopping us from doing that.
So what inspired you back then to do it? And what has either changed, helped or hindered in it coming out now?
We really wanted to do something together back then.
As a film, we did lots of theatre stuff.
Yeah. And
Not tights. We wear like jeans. Real cool theatre stuff.
Nice theatre, experimental theatre.
and then we were just looking for a project to work on, and we knew we wanted to do something funny, and
We talked about a couple of horror ideas, and I wanted to make this is how I describe it anyway.
yeah, I just go along with it.
I wanted to make a vampire film,
Right.
and had imagined, a very grand, lush
Bigger budget.
film. Yeah,
Like a Hammer, almost Coppola type what he did, or even
Yeah,
bigger?
maybe. I mean, I had seen one called Nadia. Do you know that
Okay,
film?
I don't know.
The one.
No.
And I just thought it would be a funny thing to do, have these characters there. And we'd also done some stage stuff where we played characters that were rivals for hundreds of years. And I can't even remember, I don't think it's recorded, but we did a gig once where I was a vampire and I'm on stage doing something.
Yeah.
And then I think like telling vampire jokes or something dressed as a vampire. And then he comes out and he's heckling me or saying, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "What are you doing here? You followed me 100 years to this gig." If you've been following me for hundreds of years, heckling me.
Yeah.
With these big rivals that we're going to have a big fight.
Right.
So we'd done that on stage. And then, so it's those two things, and then Taika wanted to do a documentary about something you couldn't do a documentary about.
Right.
So it all sort of fit together.
So there'd be like the special effects of like floating and turning into bats and
they're all
things, which you couldn't
handhelds
do.
Yeah.
Was
And
it
back
all-
in 2005, not many people had really done that. There wasn't
There's a lot of
field or anything like that.
Yeah,
Trauma, yeah. So those things came out, and then I was always like, oh man, it's only a matter of time before this idea's done.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah, it was done in Belgium, right?
There was a Belgian vampire documentary that came out 5 years ago or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And when people say, "You guys just copied off that," it really makes my blood boil. But I know
Right, because you had the idea, whatever it was, 10 years ago.
yeah,
10 years ago, yeah.
But I know that we really we didn't put out that short we made. We probably could have played in a few festivals and stuff.
Right.
But we only played it in one festival in Wellington because we thought someone's going to do this.
Yeah.
It's all the obvious.
I'm
idea.
amazed that it didn't make it online earlier.
I mean, there was
Sure.
there was the handheld thing with the kids who were superheroes and stuff that sort of applies the special effects aspect of like handheld camera work and things like that. But apart from that, no, there's not been a sort of mockumentary style thing.
Yeah, and that wasn't a comedy. Most of those weren't comedies.
No, right, no,
Yeah.
and that's what really adds to this as well.
One of our first ideas that we talked about, it may have been after this idea, but another variation was following an alien trying to invade Earth with,
Right.
like organising these alien spacecrafts and trying to get them all coordinated and invading Earth at the same time, and someone going to the wrong place, and that was another idea of something the same sort of thing, a documentary about.
So it'd be fair to say you're both like huge genre fans if the ideas you're coming up with is sort of the dissecting of those.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, no, I don't think it may well
Not
pretentious
huge,
about
I mean,
it,
I
you
don't
know
know
what I
enough
mean, like-
about, to name drop, cool films that, genre fans
We
would
don't
know,
need to do
but
that.
I definitely like looking at those genres in a different way, and looking at, really if you look at this film, it's like just seeing what vampires get up to in between the cool scenes from those other movies.
Right, but it was also the idea that you have four very distinct different types of vampires and even a fifth one. And was that, did you do any research into that, or was that just from sort of general cliches you'd recognized in movies you'd watched throughout your lives?
A lot is from 70s and 80s movies.
Yeah. A lot of the rules based on just like what I think I learned from those movies, you know, like the classic one, Sunlight. You know.
And then we try to clarify some, you know, we'd say, we had a friend who's credited as a vampirologist in the,
right.
in the credits, and he's kind of an expert on Shakespeare, but and the Beatles, but as a hobby, he also is interested in vampires. So we'd have questions for him like, why is it that sometimes when a vampire bites someone, they become a vampire, and sometimes they die just like a husk?
Right.
You know, we'd say, well, in this movie, this happened, and in this book, this happened, and we'd try and clarify those for ourselves and for people.
And to mine for the comedy and to find
a bit more details.
Because that's what a lot of the comedy comes out of the fact that you have that Nosferatu-looking vampire, or you've got the kind of sexual vampire or whatever that you're playing, and so on. There's all these different aspects, the lacy shirt and all the rest. That's instantly funny because we know where that's coming from, and then to add to that with all is really, really good. So. What were the challenges, because you both act and direct the film, what were the challenges there, and how did the documentary format sort of help that process or indeed hinder it?
Well, when we're both in the same scene, we tend to overact because the other one isn't watching to sort of bring it down a bit.
Sure, yeah.
Because that was we'd often direct each other, and that was always the direction was turn it down.
I just wondered if the documentary style allows you to cut, a lot if you wanted to.
Yeah, we jump cut.
Right. So if you're directing and acting, whether that helped, because it meant that if there was bits at the end of either scene that weren't tight enough or weren't perfect enough or weren't whatever, you can.
Yeah, when I did the first edit and we were editing bits with Taika's in the scene that I was kind of overall directing, but then Taika would direct within the scene.
Yeah.
And he would just like. Going good, it looks very realistic, and then he would just grab a person and move them. And they're like, why did you do that? Can't use it now. Things like that. Because we're in it.
Right. No, of course. Yeah. And so you've assembled a great cast. Obviously, Rhys Darby is back in from the Concords and things like that. It's very, very funny, and I love his character. Actually, the idea of bringing the werewolves in as well is hilarious. But tell us the story behind Stuart Rutherford.
Okay.
And the IT guy, Stu.
So Stu is my old flatmate, and we used to go
from the time when we made the short.
Right.
Yeah. So 10 years ago we were flatmates, and we also went to high school together. And Stu, he does this thing called GIS, which is, I don't even know what it means. Geo into something systems. I don't know. It's basically I can't even explain what he does.
He has a job that he describes.
He describes his real job, which is why when you cut to people looking confused, it's real.
Right.
No one can understand what he does.
Right.
And
except
still to this day, I don't understand.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I met a guy in Hawaii who came to see the film. He was like, and he thought that I'd written that joke in there about him because he used to do that job.
Right.
And he was like, man, what a great reference to GIS. And I was like, what? So one other person in the world knows about this?
Yeah.
And so Stu he isn't an actor, he's never done any acting, and then and he was helping out on the short film that we made in 2005, and we just happened to like pan across in one shot to see him, and he was just helping carry gear while we were shooting this thing, and I think we just really loved the idea of seeing this guy who was so natural and normal.
Yeah, we're dressed in frills and
we were all over the top, and he was just being himself, a pretty normal guy. And then over the writing period, over the 7 years we were writing, we just sort of started
just occasionally.
Yeah. Now and then, he would slowly work. Yeah, we'd work him more and more into the script until we realised that he was like one of the main parts.
Yeah.
And he didn't know anything about that until when we went to shoot. He got back to town and he was ready to do like what he thought was going to be like a couple of scenes. And
help us with our network.
Right, of course. Yeah. And your social media and all that, right.
Which he still did even during the shoot and during the edit and stuff. He'd help out and stuff. He's still helping out right now. But he's gone back to doing his old job.
Okay. But no, he's great in the movie. It really kind of makes it to have that kind of, I guess, like an audience substitute to some extent. But he's also funny in himself what he's doing. It's not just a.
Well, in a way, Nick does that too. Because he's the normal guy who's brought in, but then he's brought in an even more normal guy.
Right. And it was just funny how Stu was, painfully normal to some extent. You just didn't really see it coming. It was very, very good, very good. Okay, so the script was written. I've read that you wrote quite a big script, quite a dense script, but like when you brought in the actors, essentially a lot of the film was improv around that.
Yeah, we had two versions of the script. The one with Alien Invasion.
Yeah, Alien Invasion. That's what's happening.
People of Earth.
Stop what you're doing.
Or Robocop is here, one of the two.
Yeah.
We had two versions of the script. 160 page one, I think, for us. 110 for the people who were shooting it.
Yeah.
And then we'd just add in, I think we had to add in 2 pages every day to get all the things we wanted to shoot.
We'd sneak them in and
People
just
put
come
in
to
the scene.
expect that,
Yeah.
wherever we try and put in another scene. Hey, can we do a funeral scene?
We can get an ambulance.
Yeah.
We get an ambulance tonight for something. And then we didn't show the actors any script. We'd just describe where the scene started and ended, and what information they had to get out, or if we had ideas for jokes that were really attached to that with the script to make sure that they could use.
So, but how did you guide the sort of story points and the character points?
That's all in the script.
Right. So you would just tell them beforehand to make sure they hit those emotional beats, or the few serious bits that are in the film, the few bits that are actually driving the plot of the film. Okay, cool. Okay, so just in terms of anything you do next or coming up, obviously with your Concords background, your musical background, is there plans to not necessarily do a feature for the Concords, but to do a musical, or was there any idea ever to put a lot of music into the vampire film? What we do in the shows?
There was never any idea to have them burst into song.
Right.
But we have a little bit of music, and we try to put more in.
That was funny that because they all play in a band, although they all sort of right, but not particularly well.
No.
Right. But are there any plans? Right. Yeah. Are there plans to do a big musical at any point, or?
I'd like to do some variation on a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to reinvent the musical movie. Sure.
And along with sort of vampires and werewolves and things, was there any idea to add any other monsters to the movie, or to maybe to sequelize it or anything like that? Are there any plans to do anything like that with the film?
We had just talked briefly about doing a werewolf spin-off, following Reese and his mates.
Someone told us, Stu actually, he speaks Japanese. He used to live in Japan, and he told us that the Japanese feedback is that they want the werewolf film.
So the Japanese people watched the movie and went, "This is okay."
We'd like the werewolf
film. Yeah. Well, okay, that's fantastic, guys. That's really, really great.
Try and get Japanese funding.
They go to Japan.
Because there's sort of a fairly rich history in New Zealand filmmaking of sort of the horror comedy or that aspect, and Black Sheep was another New Zealand horror comedy that came out.
And the early Peter Jackson one.
Obviously the Bad Taste and Brain Dead.
And he would do it. I mean, we had more money than they did when he was doing those films.
So did he ever say, "What are you complaining about? Come on, dude"?
No, we never complained. We didn't.
No, okay.
It was fun to make.
Right.
Yeah, and we just wanted to make it, and this is the way, pretty much how we wanted it to be. If we had more, if I did it again, I would say let's try and get double the budget.
Yeah.
Probably let's pay ourselves. But I would still do it the same way if that was the only choice.
Yeah, I would too.
And is there a lot of advice out there, a lot of enthusiasm out there in New Zealand for this kind of genre comedy stuff because of the history of it, or is it just that
there's more like
or do you guys just watch a lot of that there in New Zealand? I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I don't think of it as so much of a horror as those others.
Right.
We're more focused on the jokes.
Of course, right.
But
It seems like a lot of those kind of films, like Housebound, another film that was made.
Did you see that one?
I didn't see Housebound. No.
It's a really good horror comedy.
Yeah.
Which has actually got some scary moments in it.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Peter Jackson's built up a good history of that.
Yeah. So that was.
Well, he's very, we went and talked to him about helping us, and he was very understanding and enthusiastic about it. I think he probably misses making films like that with the pressure he has on what he does now.
Yeah.
So it was very inspiring to talk to him because he's, he's so excited about the idea of doing something like that.
Right. And the challenges of integrating the special effects, both obviously the digital, but also then the practical, because there's obviously that scene where the guy in question is sort of bringing out lots of blood, and that I imagine was done practical, a lot of that. What were the challenges there of bringing that into this sort of, as we were talking about earlier, like that handheld kind of format and technique and stuff?
The handheld helps because sometimes it's blurry, it's moving.
Right.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot more. And this documentary, the hard thing is like in action scenes, normally in a film, you can cut around to make it more dynamic and the impacts and stuff when people fly across the room. But in this, it was like you're basically just staying on one shot. And
but it's actually
still exciting.
Yeah.
It helps, I think, having the one shot because it makes it all one sequence. In older movies, they cut to the something's transforming, like into a shadow or a reaction, and they cut back and you miss some of the good bits, but we're trying to think the cameraman's going to be filming that and not take his camera off it.
Right, the cameraman wouldn't pan away. I mean, unless like they were being attacked or something. Mention the Kickstarter, tell people where they can find it and what people should be now doing to help this movie, like to get it out there.
Well, it's like, I think it's like 4 days, 3 days?
3.
And
is this going out today?
Yeah, I'll put it up.
Right. Kickstarter. Yeah, well, you just go to Kickstarter and search for What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
And got 3 days left.
That's to spread it around the States. It's already coming out.
New York and LA this weekend.
Right.
And then there's more next weekend. I can't remember all the cities, but maybe 10 more. And then we have some more coming up, but then it's to get...
Ultimately to about 70 cities.
Right. That's what you want, to spread it out.
But there's good merchandise you can get that you won't get anywhere else because we don't have any... Only merchandise is on Kickstarter, so it's good quality t-shirts, 100% cotton.
And will you tour with the film? Will you tour with the film when it goes out, or
just here in LA?
Okay, just here in LA. Okay, well look, guys, it was a real pleasure to talk to you today. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. I'll go up on my website. No, don't prod it like that. It'll begin to swell. Just leave it alone. Hi guys, well that was a fantastic interview that I did earlier today with Jemaine, Clement and Taika Waititi. I'd like to say a big thank you to them again for letting me in to do that, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you wish to support their Kickstarter campaign for What We Do in the Shadows, and I suggest you all do, please go to this link down here, which is the Kickstarter campaign link for What We Do in the Shadows. They've just got 3 days left, so donate today. Please do. If you've enjoyed that interview and you want to hear more interviews like it or find other celebrity encounters that we've had, or indeed just read news or reviews or listen to podcasts all about similar films and other films and genre films and action films and all sorts of things, go here to aftermoviediner.com. And if you wish to support the After Movie Diner and you already know what we do and you enjoy what we do and you'd like to either listen to or buy my musical album, which came out in December, you can go to this link up here. So thanks ever so much again for watching, and please come back as we will hopefully be uploading videos as often as possible.